And you know me, I've been an avid supporter of the Lakers all year.
Well, not even.
It's
not even that you've been a hardcore supporter. You've been saying that I don't think you should give up on him.
Well, no, I sit here week after week, day after day, and I look at this roster and I stare at it, and I go, they have so much talent and so little to show for it. It has to turn a corner at some point. I am at the point now in the season, like you said, we're halfway through the season. If these guys haven't developed some type of chemistry by now, I don't think they're gonna. I'm jumping off the bandwagon. I am. I'm off
You're
it.
jumping off the bandwagon, huh? You're bailing on the Lakers? You're done with them?
I'm bailing on the Lakers. You gotta. I really don't see how anybody could stay with them. D'Antoni's offense is not an offense for two big men. Gasol's unhappier than ever. He actually came off the bench yesterday. He didn't even start, and before the game, he even said, I'm a starter. He doesn't want to come off the bench. He doesn't want to be a role player. You have Kobe, who is doing everything in his humanly possible power, his all-star power, his 6 championship power to do something for this Laker team, and it's not enough. Nash, who I thought would come in and be kind of like the X Factor, the guy who could get all these guys to mesh together. 1, hasn't really been that healthy, and 2, when he has been, he's been good but not great. He's really showing his age. Plus, he can't defend at all. And with D'Antoni coaching no defense whatsoever, the Lakers don't play any defense.
No, they don't.
And
the
you
best
expect
part
a
is
guy...
They had D'Antoni, I guess, mic'd up. And he's screaming defense. Defense. And you're sitting there and you're like, well, elaborate. Like, Tom Thibodeau, not to sound like a favorite, even though I'm going to, and I really don't mind that I do because I love Tom Tibbs. But Tom Thibodeau literally is screaming out defensive formations at the top of his lungs. He's literally screaming, watch pick and roll, watch this, watch that, do this, do that, rotate, do, like, coordinating as the game is going on. Not waiting until they get to the bench trying to draw things up, not screaming just the word defense, coordinating. Mike D'Antoni doesn't teach defense, so he has nothing to tell these guys other than the word defense. Dwight Howard is not playing well for them. Paul Gasol, I think it deserves more respect and actually fits D'Antoni's offense better than Howard does. Because he can fade back and shoot jump shots plus roll to the rim. But mentally, he's just not tough enough to really be a big man in the NBA, and I've always believed that. He gets beat up by guys with an attitude. All you got to do is give him a little pushing and shoving, and Paul Gasol sort of curls up, and he's like, I don't want to do this.
Everybody knows Gasol's not that physical a guy. But that's why you got Howard. Howard was supposed to be that guy in the middle that was going to block shots and rebound. If nothing else, you knew Howard was going to play defense. 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. Has shown up and done nothing. Now, I don't know if it's because of the back injury and he just hasn't recovered well, or if there's a deeper lying issue with this guy, and I know I mentioned it to you earlier. He has to be the most overrated, underachieving player in the league. And I'm almost going to go as far to say is he is the most underachieving player for the size, talent that he possesses in the last 10 years. He's supposed to be the big man.
If he is not able to go to a team... Look, Orlando built their team around him. They filled the team with nothing but 3-point shooters. Like, you know what? Dwight owns the middle, spread out the floor. He either gets one-on-one or you get an open three. One way or another, the defenses can't stop us. You know what that got them to? That actually got them to the Eastern Conference Finals. I think, did they make the NBA Finals the one year? Or they lost to Boston, maybe. Maybe because I know they knocked LeBron and Cleveland out.
Yeah, I think, but they lost to Boston.
But I think they lost to Boston to get to the finals. Whatever. Either which way, it got them no rings.
None.
It got them a roster that they were stuck with. And then they had to trade Howard, and then they were stuck with a bunch of three-point shooters, but nobody that could do anything to make their own. Like, Orlando's screwed until they get things fixed. Now, don't get me wrong. They're playing, I think they're like 10, 12 games under 500 right now. But for how bad I think their roster is, that's actually not terrible. Anyway, you now go to Los Angeles. And I am telling you right now, the Lakers bombed this one, and I said it before and I'll say it again. D'Antoni was the wrong decision.
He was the wrong hire. But he was a hire that they felt comfortable with because Kobe Bryant approved it.
Yeah,
that's it.
Pretty much.
And honestly, Pixel, I know what you're saying, that D. Howe will end up with Brooklyn after the All-Star break, and it sounds nice. But I still think if there's one guy to get traded, I think it's Gasol because he's been unhappy for a couple years.
I see it, and I wouldn't be surprised
I think they trade Gasol, and to be honest, I don't think Dwight re-signs with him in the offseason, and I think they go next year, they pick up a piece or two, and like a lot of people are out there speculating, they may try to make a run at LeBron after next season. They'll have the money. If they get trade Powell this year, which even if they kept him for next year, his contract will be up after next year anyway, so it wouldn't really matter. And if they get rid of Howard, so they don't have to sign Howard and take on Howard's money, they might make a run at LeBron. I wouldn't be shocked at it.
I wouldn't be either, but I also wouldn't be shocked with what Pixel's saying. But I think to me that's more based on
I think that Brooklyn net deal passed. I think that I think the Nets got real sour real fast when that deal kept falling through. They thought they traded for him or were going to be able to trade for him, and they weren't, and he ended up going out to the Lakers. I think it soured Brooklyn on him.
Yeah.
I think Brooklyn looks at it and says, listen,
we don't want this guy anymore.
This guy is nothing but a headache and a problem, and he's not playing any defense out there with the Lakers. We have a guy, Brook Lopez, here who rebounds, plays some defense, and can do some things for us. He's playing better basketball right now than Dwight is. I'm probably going to keep Lopez. I'd rather Lopez with the Nets than take on Howard's nonsense. I'm not kidding. I've been you know me, I love big men in the league. And I look at it, and the league is supposed to have Dwight Howard and then Andrew Bynum. Andrew Bynum is out indefinitely. Nobody knows when that goofball's ever making the court again. And Dwight Howard has been nothing but an absolute disappointment to everybody in not only L.A., but across the country who wants to see good basketball. He's been a disappointment this year. Beyond that, you were supposed to have everybody else like Brook Lopez and Roy Hibbert and everybody else in that next step below. Why am I going to take Dwight Howard if he's not going to play to potential? If he's going to be a headache, if he's going to cause problems with coaches and other teammates like he's already done out in L.A.
Yeah.
And I know they joked about him and Kobe having a scuffle, and then they did their little picture and everybody laughed and thought it was a big joke. It's deeper than that. Kobe doesn't like to lose. That's the one thing I can tell you about Kobe Bryant. I'm not a Kobe Bryant guy, but that man does not like to lose basketball games.
No, he does not.
That man is about winning and winning championships.
Yeah.
That's the only reason that man plays basketball. You could throw all the money you want at him. That man is one of those guys I look at, and he plays because he loves loves winning.
You never hear him bitch at the end of the season. When a year is all said and done, Kobe Bryant will never bitch about not winning an MVP or not winning a scoring title or not winning any of that. Kobe Bryant will bitch about not winning an NBA championship. He don't care about the rest.
There are a couple guys I can look at. Jordan was one of them. Jordan just had that I need to win every time I step on the court attitude. Jordan was not a guy that was happy losing. Kobe is not a guy that's happy losing. Just not. And right now, he's got to be besides himself. He's got to be sitting in that Laker locker room going, what do I have to do to you guys to get you to play some basketball? What do I got to do to get a win out of you?
You seriously just bench the other 4 guys. Let Kobe play by himself.
I mean,
it's ridiculous.
You look at it,
I
and
completely agree. Yeah.
Dwight has all the physical tools to dominate.
Yeah.
Dominate in a sense that we haven't seen since Shaq's heyday.
But he's very similar in that a lot of these young guys don't have that killer attitude. They never either developed it, weren't born with it. And to be honest with you,
it's something you gotta have in you.
Exactly. And you gotta also understand that, that killer attitude, especially our generation, we look at Michael Jordan as the definition of that killer attitude. He is the definition of what that was. Nobody ever again, most likely, will ever have the attitude. That man talked shit at his Hall of Fame induction. He was ready to go show people he could still play the game of basketball. He's just that. He is that kind of guy. But it was
anything he played, whether it was basketball, whether it was golf, whether it was anything. He had to have a wager on it. He had to have some stakes to it. And he had to win. It's the way he is. I look at another guy who's still playing right now because of a killer instinct and a killer attitude in the NFL, and Ray Lewis. His killer instinct, his killer attitude, he's leading the teams in tackles every single game, and the guy's planning on retiring.
Yeah, that's crazy to me.
He's willing himself to do it.
Yeah, I saw that.
He says, I don't want to lose. I don't want to. That's what I was talking about. He doesn't miss tackles. Just like Jordan didn't miss buzzer beaters, really. Jordan wanted the ball in a big moment. Ray Lewis wants somebody on a 4th and 1. You gotta have, and Kobe had to get it back to Kobe. He has that killer instinct, and it's gotta be killing him to be in the position he's in right now with this team. He thought he'd be set. We're picking up Nash and Dwight Howard? Oh my God. It's awesome. Thank you.
I don't need no damn mirror. I'm ready. You know what? Honestly, the Lakers are so the opposite
They're a mess.
of what I thought
listen,
they were going to be.
I'm off the bandwagon. I don't think Dwight's here next year. I would be shocked if Gasol didn't get traded by the All-Star break. Something's got to change. They need a major shakeup with this team.
They got to do something. Exactly. I think that's what it is. You need to shake things up.
Got to have a major shakeup.